When I was 21, I still did not know how to put a tampon in until my sister bullied me and forced me to do it. And I finally did it because I was so tired of wearing bloody diapers when I would go out dancing. Three, I think, or I was like almost 23. Me and my bestie went to New York City to see SNL, and I had been talking to who I assumed was really Fred Armisen, and it turned out it was him. Um, we met through MySpace. Back then, you could actually talk to celebrities. I don't know. Um, so we went there. My other friend, who I met through work, she was a flight attendant, and so we got $60 round trip tickets to New York City from Ohio. We stayed at this hostel in Harlem. And I had never stayed in a hostel before. I really wasn't sure what to expect. But basically, we were in this giant room full of bunk beds, and there was this little alcove in the corner with four beds, so two bunk beds that was semi-private. So I was like, let's just go back there, even though that wasn't one of our assigned bunk beds. I was like, we're just gonna go back there because we need some privacy. So it was me, my best friend, my other friend, and then the fourth bunk was occupied by this hot Canadian man who liked me, and we, didn't hook up all the way, but we had a fun time that weekend. We ended up meeting Fred. We went and hung out with him, and it was pretty awkward. He is kind of a weird guy. He was super anxious the whole time. At the time I was 22, I think he said he was 39, so there's a big age gap. And I still have pictures. It's so crazy. But anyway, it was just really weird. We went to Gray's Papaya, and then my friends went home, and I stayed the night at his place. And I did touch his, a little bit, but honestly, not a lot happened because my period saved the day. I ended up, just in the bathroom all night, sitting on the toilet, as mass amounts of blood came out of my body. And he had this huge stack of magazines in his window, that were dusty, and I ended up just like reading them, and like I did fall asleep on the toilet for a little bit. So I was in there for a long time. I came back in, and he was like really annoyed with me, and I really didn't want to go all the way. So I was like, I also felt terrible because he did not have ibuprofen. He didn't have any tampons or pads, and I just didn't want to, go through with it. So I went back in the bathroom, and I was in there for a while, and then I ended up, he was like frustrated with me, but we did get some sleep. I slept for maybe 2 hours. We got up at like 7, and he took me to breakfast. And this is back when I didn't really like breakfast. It really grossed me out. I still am not a big breakfast person. And this was like not my first time visiting New York City, but I was pretty unfamiliar with how things go. And one of the things popular at the time at restaurants was that if you ordered a small orange juice, it was like a shot glass size. It was pretty small. And if you ordered a large, it was just a regular size orange juice that I could get in Ohio. And they were usually cheap, but in New York City, a tiny orange juice was like $4, like this small, and this was in the early 2000s. I have like one bite of a sausage. It tastes gross. I can't eat the breakfast. And so he's pretty annoyed with me all around. And then we leave, and I remember he like kissed me like a peck on my mouth, and I remember thinking, this is really weird. This is what old people do. And then I got on the train, and I actually took the wrong train to Harlem, that went super to the west, and that was when my period just hit me full force, and I was just walking around like in this dream, because I guess it still really hurts, but it was just like horrible, horrible pain. I went into this drugstore that was like not Walgreens or CVS. It was like a non-chain mom and pop place. And I was like, do you guys have any painkillers, like, and I think they thought I was like on drugs or something because they got really mad at me and were like yelling at me to leave, and I was like, ibuprofen. But I was just like, I felt really, really bad. You know, I barely got any sleep. I didn't eat anything. I was just really out of it. I finally find our hostel. I was walking. It felt like I had been walking for days, but I think it was like an hour. I finally find the hostel. And this is before smartphones. I just got really lost and then finally found it. I did find a Walgreens right by our hostel and finally got some ibuprofen and some tampons, and then I was all better. But the funny thing is, like, during that trip, I basically, me and my best friend, we would just like hang out with different guys. It was fun. I was more of a tease, clearly from that story. But I also didn't get a lot of sleep that whole trip because we would stay up really late and party. And I remember being in the bathroom and I was trying to put up a tampon, and I was like, why do I have two strings in my body? And it turned out I had put up a second tampon when I already had one up there. And then I was trying to put up a third one when I realized what was going on. And guess what? I had two in there and I did not get toxic shock syndrome. So I was good. Full circle. Full circle story. As for Fred, we did get to see SNL the next night. And I was so excited to go to the after party, but he was like, oh, I'm tired. And so we didn't get to go, and I was pretty upset. But now when I think back on it, it makes more sense, you know. I did get to meet the guy, the lead singer of Wilco, and I didn't realize who it was at first because he introduced me just by his first name. But it was just weird because the age gap was weird. And honestly, at the time, I didn't want to hang out with a bunch of old dudes. Oh, and then years later, I was going to SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, and I walked right by him and his girlfriend, who was Natasha Leone at the time, and I did not say hi. I just walked by them.